Hi, I'm Kim. My Prudent Mariner series is designed to get you thinking about situations that could happen on the boat and what is going to be your response to those situations. I'm looking at my list for this Sunday for my crew and what I'm going to challenge them to perform situation-wise. The first thing we're going to do is an engine quits scenario, which will be out in the middle of the Intracoastal, plenty of room all around, and I will actually turn off the engine. What they are going to have to do is communicate with boats around us. When I say communicate, they will make appropriate radio calls without actually pressing the button and making the call on the VHF, but just get used to saying securite, securite, all vessels in the vicinity, that type of thing. And then they must raise sails. And that sounds like a pretty easy thing to do, but actually it's not. And I'm going to be looking for them to be able to feather the boat in and out of the wind. I'm going to be looking for them to make some judgments on which sail they're going to bring up first, all those type of decisions. After that, what we'll do is we'll have the steering failure. And we're not going to have the emergency tiller ready. This is going to be your steering has now failed, begin. And they will have to actually retrieve the emergency tiller. They'll have to install it. They're probably going to have to steer with the sails a bit until that tiller is ready. And that's going to be really good practice for them because it's probably since their beginning sailing class that they actually had to steer with the sails. And of course actually get the tiller in and see how that works, if it's actually even feasible to steer the boat with that if you've got any way on. And of course an option would be to simply anchor. So then the next scenario we're going to do is there's not enough wind to sail and we don't have any control and we're going to have to do an emergency anchoring. In between those, if there's too much wind, we'll go ahead and run a reefing practice because everybody always can use a reefing practice, but then we'll do an emergency anchoring and I'm going to be looking for that control, that communication, that they are letting people around us know that they are grounded drifter at anchor, especially if we're in the middle of the channel, and also be looking for them to pause and not just dump all of the chain on top of the anchor and foul the anchor. After that, we will run the practice, because at this point the sails are still up, we'll run the practice that the really bad storm is coming, can't get the jib to furl. We're going to try furling it by rolling it from the clew. We'll also try furling it by rolling it from the luff. And we might, if we have time, we might also drop it, because I found a lot of times students haven't necessarily ever dropped a jib, and it's a good practice for them if something happens and it's an emergency and this is the only solution, is for them just to get the hang of doing that. And then we will do we'll do a scenario that the boat is dragging and you must anchor upwind. If we're on the catamaran, we'll drop the dinghy, give them some practice with that, or we could just simulate it and talk about what if we didn't have an engine and we do need to use the dinghy. So that is my lineup for Sunday. So I've also got on here assorted situations as time allows: fire, high water alarm, engine overheat, prop fail, and whatever is scariest to today's crew. I also have a securite script on the page so that if they need to practice their radio voice and if they have any type of stage fright as far as talking on the radio, give them a chance to do that, and also double underline the importance of communicating with the boats around you what's going on. These are in the last 35 years of working as a charter boat captain and sailing instructor out of St. Augustine, Florida on the Intracoastal Waterway and Atlantic Ocean. These are the situations that we have found to happen the most often. We have experienced them the most. These are the things that are most likely to happen when you're out day sailing, you're boating for pleasure, and these are the type of situations that my students are most likely to encounter. These are the situations that are most likely to happen in our area, so these are the ones that I like for my students to practice and get a little bit of experience with and get them that critical thinking about what can I do in one of these critical dynamic situations. Everything is changing. There's the tide, there's wind, there's current, there's so much going on, and so that's not the time to suddenly brainstorm a plan with your crew. You kind of need to have an idea of what is possible, what you can do, and how are you going to solve these situations, what tools do you have available to you a little bit in advance. So that's why I encourage them to run through some of these scenarios. We have some guests here with us this morning. This is Spook. Ooh, the sweetest kitty ever, and Jasper's right behind you. On my blog at deepwaterhappy.com, you will find articles on each of these scenarios and and step-by-step checklists for what to do when these things happen, some procedures to follow. I've got some articles coming up about how to deal with the marine toilet and clogs and problems there. I've got some articles on steering failure, all of these different scenarios. You'll see articles at Deepwater Happy on these along with checklists. So please subscribe to deepwaterhappy.com, and also on the video, please click like and subscribe if you want to see upcoming videos and see how we do with these scenarios. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this information useful. I'll leave the list of what we're going to do on Sunday down below. Bye. We've got all the chairs out here so that we can pressure wash the deck. So I'm filming in a different location, and that means cats had to come out here to check what was going on.